Greetings, everyone. Miss Nickie Brown here, and I hope that you are having a good day no matter what part of the world you are in. Today, I just came to briefly come on here and talk about differences. Um, we tend to judge and criticize people's differences, but many of us may not realize that racism is what sparked difference. So, focusing on our differences, I should say, is what sparked racism. So, we still kind of have a tendency to do that. However, we're different so that we can learn from each other, not to judge and criticize. If Tamika's good at cooking and Rosemary's good at cleaning up, and Thomasina's good at sewing, and Caroline's good at knitting, and Robert's good at finances, and um, Julio's good at uh, administrative work and keeping good ledgers. We should respect their roles and allow them to do it. We shouldn't say, "Oh, you know how to, uh, you know how to crochet? I want to learn how to crochet." Because crocheting may not be your calling. And I'm just using these basic things as an example. But everybody should live for their purpose and their calling. And again, respect the differences of others. We're not all meant to be the same. We don't have to be the same. We shouldn't be the same. We should be ourselves. And if somebody does something different or says something different and you don't understand it, it's okay for you to ask a question. Or why do you think that way? Or why do you do it that way? It's not meant for us to come and try to go, this supposed to be how I go, because that's what my kindergarten teacher told me. We can grow and evolve. We don't have to do the same things that the people before us did. We can figure out how it works for us and tweak it. There's nothing wrong with doing it different. There's nothing wrong with being different. The Creator created us different for a reason. Again, to learn from one another rather than to judge or criticize or envy or try to imitate. Again, focusing on difference has caused a lot of chaos and confusion in the world. I appreciate people's differences, um, especially when it comes to astrology. It's very helpful to know other people's zodiac signs and how they operate and think. For example, some people are blunt and direct, and some people are passive aggressive, or just at least passive. Some people are direct, and some people are indirect. So, for example, someone might say, "Oh, you can do this if you want to. That's actually their way of asking you, can you do it? And some people don't know how to communicate, so they don't know how to ask. And so they say it in an indirect way. And if you're a more direct person, it can be very confusing. So sometimes you have to ask those clarifying questions, but sometimes you don't even know to ask the question until after the fact. So it's like if you ask after the fact, some people could say that you're picking or being petty, but no, it's okay to ask for clarity. Or it's sometimes if you think about it, or the person comes back and says something else to you, then you figure out, oh, that's what they meant. They didn't really mean you can do this if you want to. And if they do say that, you do have a right to say, no, I don't want to. And you don't have to feel bad or ashamed or guilty or anything. You have that right to say, well, no, I don't want to. And for some people, it's so confusing that it makes the person feel like they're trying to be funny or trying to manipulate or use them. But that's not always the case. Again, some people just don't know how to say it. Or in some people's mind, they would like people to say it to them like that. And so they're just treating you the way that they would like to be treated. But again, if you are a more direct person that would just come out and say, oh, can you do this for me, please? Now, they might think that you're rude. Oh, she trying to tell me what to do. Some people don't understand the difference between asking someone to do something and telling somebody what to do. And so they automatically in their mind think by you respectfully asking in your mind, because you would want someone to do that for you, they think you're telling them what to do. So that's why some people say, oh, well, you can do this for me if you want to. But again, if you're a direct person, that is very, very confusing. Just like if you're, just like if you're an indirect person and someone asks you, that may or may not rub you the wrong way. It's just a different style of communication. I remember once I asked somebody, oh, I swept up the trash and then I went to do something else. And we were cleaning. And I said, oh, can you do that for me? And I went in the other room and I did this something else because we're trying to hurry up and get out of the house so we can move on to the next one and, make our money. And I politely, as pleasantly as I possibly can, said, can you please pick that up for me? Again, that's a question. And if you don't want to do it, you have a right to say no. But instead of saying no, she just didn't do it. Now, to me, that is rude because, again, I would rather you just say no. And then I would have just said, okay, went and did the other thing that I was doing, and then came back and did it. But now you standing waiting on me instead of just going ahead and pick it up so we can get out of here. That's what I was thinking. I wasn't trying to tell anybody what to do. I'm trying to prioritize and use good time management skills so we can move on to the next one. But again, that's not what that person was thinking. They were thinking, and then she mumbled it. This is a Cancer. This is some of the things that they do, and I'm not picking. She mumbled it. I don't want nobody telling me what to do. I was like, unbelievable. Unbelievable. But again, this is not for us to get upset with people. It's just different. Because the way people process things in their mind is different. And so in order to understand people better, sometimes we have to ask questions. Because we don't know what's going on in their mind unless they passive-aggressively mumbled it under their breath. Or if you ask them to do something and they just don't do it. And so instead of saying no, that's their answer. I had another conversation with somebody recently and I said, "Oh, would you be willing to do so and so and such and such?" And the answer was, "Well, people so and such and such." And I said, "Oh, well, I guess that means no." Because I was just looking for a yes or no. But some people feel like they have to tell a story or explain, which again, if you're a more direct person and you're just looking for a yes or no, that can be confusing. So you kind of have to go come up with your own assumption at that point. But I didn't just come up with my own assumption and leave it to myself. I pretty much asked, "So does that basically mean that you're saying no?" But I said it as, "I guess that means you're saying no." And so then the person came back and said, "Well, I'm not saying no. We have to, do this." And I was like, "Okay." But some people are so accustomed to telling a story that they don't know how to answer a question directly with just a simple yes or no. Yes is a complete sentence and no is a complete sentence. And we really don't owe anyone explanation. You can say yes or no and leave it right there. Now, if the person comes back with a follow up question, you can respectfully answer their question. But again, we don't owe anyone an explanation. We don't really owe anyone anything. We're not entitled to anything. The only thing we're supposed to do is have respect for the Most High and each other. Love thy neighbor. That's the only thing we have to do. Or, I'm not telling anybody what to do. That's the only thing we should be doing and should be focused on is self. Healing self, elevating self, growing financially. But if you want to, some people don't want to. And that's fine. And that's again a difference. Some people just want to live modestly. Some people think it's wrong to have money. Some people think it's great to have money. Some people think it's great to love money. Again, these are differences. You can choose to talk about it or you can choose to not talk about it. But we shouldn't talk about people just because they're different. If anything, we should find out more about them. Hey, let me learn more about that. Let me learn more about you. What made you make that decision? And if we disagree and have a difference of opinion, that doesn't mean we have to get an attitude. We don't have to get angry. We don't have to yell at people. We don't have to cuss people out. We don't have to hang up the phone on people just because we disagree with them. That's ungodly. Because usually the people who do that are toting a Bible under their arm. And they'll be quick to preach to you, yet they're doing some very unrighteous things. That's really rude and disrespectful. People don't have to think the same way. And it's okay. Because again, the Creator, the Most High Creator, created us to be different, not the same. Not to think different, dress different, talk different, walk different. 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 Eat different, smell different. And of course, because there's so many things that are readily available to us, we may eat the same thing. We may smell the same. We may have on the same outfit. And that's okay too if it happens. But just because it happens does not mean this is a reason to judge or criticize somebody because you've known them for a long time, and how dare they want to wear Reeboks when everybody else is wearing Jordans. Why can't they wear Reeboks if they want to? If that's what they like, why do you have to tease them or pick on them because they don't want to be the same? They want to be unique and step outside the box. What's wrong with that? That doesn't mean they think they're better than you. That doesn't mean they have more than you. And you may think that they're strong because they're able to wear Reeboks and everybody else is wearing Jordans, where in their mind, they just see themselves as being unique and doing what they want to do with their life. They would just want to do something different. And it's okay. That doesn't diminish you. That doesn't take away from you and who you are. Because again, if you're good at cooking, then cook. If you're good at sewing, then sew. If you're good at finances, then handle finances for people in or yourself, in or your relatives, whether it be in your household or outside your household. Do what you are good at. Share it with people. I said this in a previous video. If you're good at baking pies, bake pies and take them to your neighbors. A kind gesture can go a long way. You don't have to be angry. You don't have to be depressed. Doing something for other people actually makes you feel better. If you're good at cooking, make 2 plates. Go to the dollar store, buy some plastic containers, put a lid on it, and give it to 2 random homeless people. Occupy your time with humanitarian efforts instead of gossiping, judging, and criticizing other people for being different. It'll make you feel so much better. Oh, if you want to, because I'm not telling you what to do. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to. You can continue to gossip, judge, and criticize people for being different from you. Just remember, what goes around comes around. You reap what you sow. That's all. Love y'all. Later.